We're being siloed into a bubble. Our likes empower the algorithm. It feeds us what we want, to keep us engaged. It wants to sell our attention. We slip deeper into a constraining narrative. But we must break free. We must burst the bubble. Truths will be learned. Cognitive dissonance will make our hearts and heads ache. Different perspectives will bring us wisdom. Some truths will be hilarious, others painful. But we must be free. We must break into the DisAlgorithm.
Alright, welcome to the DisAlgorithm. Let's see what's going on today. We're going to go into my feed and then pop the bubble and go into the DisAlgorithm. We're going to see what's going on. I haven't heard much today, so. Alright, here's my feed. Let's see what's this.
Why it looks so Dutchy?
Alright, try.
I've never seen a water pump.
It's like there's no rules anymore.
But I'll stop. Holy crap. What is this?
I'd be scared to walk.
They're fighting.
They're really trying to hurt me.
Run! Damn! Why it looks so Dutchy?
That's sick. Commemorating Stonewall. Charlie Kirk is a college dropout who only went to Harper for a bit after being rejected from the United States military academy at West Point. Meanwhile, she earned her spot through actual education. Charlie's just a racist, Islamophobic clown who only debates kids half his age. And if someone smarter schools him, he cuts their mic like a coward. That face triggered. Why am I only seeing Thomas Sowell?
So,
Man, get you and your dumb kid out of the store, man.
so,
Someone's got to pick all that crap up.
so.
Let's see. Last year marked 200 years since Karl Marx was born. Here's a list of the top 5 nations where his ideas brought prosperity. Yeah. There you go. Alright, I'm gonna skip. Let's see. Freedom of expression. This is a hate crime. Alright. Seems fair.
That dude's a fat.
Why do you think that this person is a patriot or a traitor?
That dude's a fat.
Why do you say that?
I mean, just look at him. He's a communist. This guy wants government-owned grocery stores. If you support government-owned grocery stores, then you're a fucking re. Tell me an instance where the federal government has ran a business or done something better than an American citizen. This guy isn't even an American citizen. He was born in Uganda. He came here 8 years ago and he wants to be the mayor and he wants government-owned grocery stores. If you walk into a CVS, you have to ring a bell to unlock the toothbrushes. If this guy becomes mayor, you're gonna have to ring a bell to unlock the Tic Tacs, to unlock the Coca-Cola. Everything's gonna get stolen. Everyone's gonna go out of business. The country's already ruined, but it's gonna be even more ruined if this slimy little rat wins. I say vote Eric Adams, deport this guy back to wherever the he came from, and he's a fucking fat. Plain and simple.
Do you think that this person is a patriot or a traitor?
That dude's a
Why do you say that?
MS-13 bobblehead night. Attorney General Pam Bondi has just fired up multiple prosecutors involved in J6 cases per AP. Has just fired multiple prosecutors. These political prosecutors ruined lives on behalf of the Democratic Party. Bondi told these prosecutors that they were removed from federal service effective immediately, per letter seen by NBC. And yeah, can we get some people arrested, please? Let's see. The left was mad the stock market dropped. Now they're mad it's booming because they're just miserable people. Of course. Transgender suspect in Missouri Tesla firebombing may spend 30 years in prison. Good. Alright. Can we get, like, some actual people that matter put in prison?
When our ancestors were did you know that the term good morning was originated when our ancestors were being held as captives during so-called slavery? Slave owners, after spending all night torturing, murdering, and kidnapping their loved ones, would greet them at sunrise with, "Did you have a good morning?" That was their way of mocking us because they knew that we had just spent all night crying and mourning the loss of our loved ones. Did you know that the term good morning was originated
What a dumbass. Oh my gosh. Some people are just retarded. I hope she was just making that, or I hope she was just, faking that video. Alright. I'll go watch all that though. That's an hour, dude.
So,
Iran nearly succeeded in assassinating Mike Pompeo in 2022.
Beautiful bill.
I'm excited to vote for the. Let me tell you about this one big, beautiful bill.
It is time to pass this one big, beautiful bill.
I'm proud to be ready to vote for the big.
Yeah. Do it already. Cowards kneel, leaders lead. University of Virginia president resigns under DOJ pressure after failing to cut DEI program. Good. Bye-bye. USAID turning Democrats into millionaires since 1961. Bye-bye. JD Vance confirms Mark Rubio's findings. Only 12 cents of every dollar was sent to foreign aid is actually spent on what is supposed to be spent on. The rest is laundered by NGOs and their subcontractors, JD Vance. So we spend $100,000 to this group to buy food for poor kids in Africa. Okay. What actually happens is it's not 100,000 that go to the food for poor kids in Africa. The NGO, a non-government organization, gets that money, contracts it out to somebody else, and then they subcontract it. There's like 3 or 4 middlemen. Mark Rubio, who's Secretary of State, he's a good friend. He's a very good friend. What he told me is the best estimate. After he and his team looked at it, it was that 88 cents of every dollar was actually being collected by middlemen. So every dollar we were spending humanitarian assistance, 12 cents was actually making it for people in need. That's crazy. There's a lot of waste, man.
Rubio, who's the Secretary of State, he's a very good friend. We send $100,000 to this group to buy food for like poor kids in Africa. Okay. And what actually happens is it's not $100,000 that go to the food for the poor kids in Africa. Right. That the NGO, the non-government organization that gets that money, contracts it out to somebody else.
Right. So
and then they
middleman.
subcontract it out to somebody else. There's like 3 or 4 middlemen. Oh. And what, Marco Rubio, who's the Secretary of State, he's a very good friend. What he told me is that his best estimate after he had his team look at it is that 88 cents of every dollar was actually being collected by middlemen.
No way.
So every dollar we were spending humanitarian assistance, 12 cents was actually making it to people who needed it. That's crazy. So there's a lot of waste, man, a lot of crazy stuff. So we send $100,000 to this group.
At this point, we can conclude that America has 3 parties: Democrat, people who hate America, and Americans; Republican, people who make promises they won't keep; MAGA, people who actually fight for Americans. Okay. What is this?
Kind of gauging how the rest of Zoran Mamdani, your next potential mayor.
I love him.
I've been just following the rhetoric online, kind of gauging how the rest of America has been reacting to his election. They're saying that he wants to abolish the police, prisons, he wants to legalize drugs, sex work.
That all sounds great to me. I mean, honestly.
He's low-key, he's the people's princess right now. Like, I guess in male terms, I guess the people's prince. I would say that because he's like pro-Palestine, like Palestinian, I believe I'm saying that correctly. The TV elections, when all the candidates were speaking to each other, they were asking about Israel, like, oh, are you going to visit Israel? Like, asking everyone this. No, we're worried about New York. Let's focus on New York. Let's focus on taxes. Let's talk about freezing rent, because that's what he wants to do. And I'm like, okay, we need this.
And you know what, I wanted to ask about the taxes too, right? Because he's talking about potentially moving the tax burden into wider, richer neighborhoods. What are your thoughts on that?
That would mean the rich would have to pay more taxes, yes? Oh, that's a great idea.
Is he like the first like Muslim like mayor? Is that what they're saying? So. Yeah, I think so. Which I think is like really cool, and like especially in like, the current administration just federally. I feel like that's like a really cool statement.
What I like about him is he is going to stand up to the tyranny that is our federal administration at this point in time. That's what I like about him. His voice about really saying if Netanyahu came here, he would put him in jail. That guy's a war criminal, and it's not anti-Semitic to say that.
This is actually a take that most people are not, a connection people are not going to make with Mamdani, so I'm going to make it. And it's the connection to Trump, okay? Why did Trump win, and why did Mamdani win? First of all of Trump's opposition was saying rapist, 34 felonies, blah, 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 putting all these labels on him. But then Trump won. Why did he win? Because he listened to the people that were voting for him, for the things that people actually cared about. That's why he won. He talked about things that mattered to the people that were voting. Mamdani, same thing. You can put all the labels on him, but it didn't work against Trump, and it's not going to work against just a mayor either.
As we've seen, like, things aren't really working out right now, and I think it's like someone new, a lot of like new, like, fresh ideas, and coming in, like, promising like real change.
And they're going from the
backed by
the frying pan to the fire.
He's already funded by the people, and he's gonna like speak for.
It's not working out right now, but
talking point that's been coming
just
up,
wait.
And, I want
just wait until you see what happens with that guy.
Zoran being an open socialist, right? What are our thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I hope it works out.
I'm
So
not speaking as a city employee, but I am a
like
member
fantasy,
of the Democratic Socialists of America as well. So I am full-throatedly open to hearing people challenge how capitalism has really ruined my generation's ability to have upward mobility.
Well, I was going to vote for Bernie Sanders first time around, so that answers about the question about how I feel about socialism.
I think socialism is like a word that's often attributed to things that, there's a lot of like definitions. I mean, like, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna pass on that one.
Alright, well, that's what you get when you ask a bunch of people in a park their opinions. Big balls for the win. Social Security handouts just had their largest monthly decline ever recorded. This is what happens when you end waste, fraud, and abuse. Big balls for the win. Yep. I'm seeing like the same 3 people. Let's see.
My name is Pink and I'm really glad to meet you. You're recommended to me by some people.
Dumb. I was retarded. What is this? Fuke family waterfall head. Okay. 7 miles of God's glory. Try not to miss them. Okay. Because family is the greatest gift. We don't have them forever. Thank you, Jesus, for this. What is this? What is going on here?
Tariffs for years on dairy products has just so we've just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with, how about the globalists that have conquered Canada, including the fact that they have charged our farmers as much as 40% tariffs for years on dairy products, has just announced that they are putting a digital services tax on our American technology companies, which is a direct and blatant attack on our country. They are obviously copying the European Union, which has done the exact same thing, which is currently under discussion with us. Also, based on this egregious tax, we are hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada. Effective immediately, we will let Canada know the tariff they will be paying to do business with the United States of America within the next 7 days, period. Thank you for your attention on the matter. So, why did Carney do this? Because they're raping Canada, they're sucking it dry, they're selling it out to China, and they need Trump to be the distraction to then say Canada's screwing us. No, the globalist tyrants in control of it are screwing you and us. I mean, this is just an absolute no-brainer. And Trump is continuing down this idiotic, and I don't mean that meanly, trajectory. And it's going to hurt America, it's going to hurt Canada, it's going to help the globalists. So I wish to heaven he would stop it. Trump, I'd say, does 95% good. But it's for those of us that are on the ground watching things and seeing different angles to warn Trump when he does something that you can see is going to be not good. Not good for America, not good for Canada. So I'll give you the bad news first and the good news after. The globalist party led by Trudeau, the model of the New World Order WF plan, had a 15% approval rating, and even with their new candidates, might have been able to pull 20% in the parliament. They still win with like 35% or so because there's a whole bunch of parties. But when Trump came out and made his joke about, yeah, we're going to annex Canada and our hockey team's going to kick your ass, he played into tribalism just as a joke. It all started when he was president-elect and Trudeau ran down there to Mar-a-Lago and he said, oh, you can be the governor of Canada. And everybody liked that, so Trump kept telling the joke. Well, it took us from about to get patriots in Canada, which is so important because the Chi-Coms are trying to take it over, to putting Mark Carney in, who's the former head of the Bank of England, not even really a Canadian, says he's really a European Union citizen, and is actually a top globalist technocrat. He's not a minion like Trudeau. He's one of their managers. I mean, he's in the council. So now this continues on, and Carney wants an aggressive fight with the United States because they're raping Canada. They have horrible housing problems, horrible inflation, much worse than ours. They have cartels and monopolies that run all their services. They won't let U.S. banking in. They won't let our eggs or meat in or dairy, just everything. It's a total screw. And you think, well, that's terrible. The Canadians ripping us off with $150 million or more a year trade deficit. No. If you study the math, they get screwed even more. And that's why they pay 4 or 5 times for eggs or for meat or just anything. Because there's a few cartels run everything under what's left of the British Empire up there. So if Trump would have come out, and he's starting to do this now, and said, oh, I want to free you from the globalists. We want to make great deals for both sides. But no, instead, and again, I bring up a Trump failure. People are like, why are you bringing up a Trump failure? Back him. We support him by when he does good stuff backing it, which is the majority of the time. When he does bad stuff, saying it's a bad idea. And I was one of the first with Canadian experts like Ezra Levant and others on when he was just president-elect that said this is going to be a disaster. Now, like 8 months ago. And boy, weren't we proven right again. What was a no-brainer? You tell Canadians that we're going our way and we were about to get like basically Trump clones in. How do you screw that up? You say, oh yeah, you guys are losers and you owe everything to us and we're going to take you over. Well, they're already taken over by the globalists. So you don't do it that way. But Trump screwed the pooch on that one. And you'll have headlines, Jones turns on Trump. No, I didn't. Someone who's really loyal and who's gone through hell to back somebody is going to try to protect them. Your wife may make 99% good decisions. Your husband may make 99% good decisions. But when you see them doing something really bad and really out of control that you know's wrong, you've got to tell them it's wrong. Here's an example. 6 months ago, the Democrats in the lawsuits suing my parents as part of the attack on me say, hey, just give up your supplement company that my dad owned with me. I already given up my interest to him in the suit. Just give up your interest in that, and we'll drop all this stuff. He gave it up. They didn't give up the thing. They sued him again. And I never really yell at my parents since maybe I was 14. But I actually, back in January, yelled at them in their living room. And I said, I marked and they apologized and cried the other day, and my dad's super sick. I didn't yell at them at this time. I just knew it. And I didn't yell at them a lot. I just said, I just did raise my voice. And because I knew. And I said, okay, fine, it's your decision. Just get screwed. And now they said, oh, my God, we'll always listen to you in the future. I'm like, you don't want to be the person that's in that position. And I'm not sitting there like I'm Trump's daddy. I'm saying in general, I'm going to tell friends, family, people I care about the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. And maybe I'm wrong. Boy, I wish I was more often. I'm rarely wrong on big issues. So Canada is now basically putting a giant tariff. If you read the actual what they did, not just on computers and electronics, but all digital services, which means banking. So not only is our banking been banned forever up there, now they're going to ban even our digital systems going in there. I mean, this is mark of the beast stuff. What they want to, what Trudeau did to the peaceful truckers protesting the lockdowns and riding over women and children with horses and taking tens of thousands of people's bank accounts away. This is what they're doing to America. And of course, he's a globalist. I mean, he said we're going to use the new cashless society to control people, just like Larry Fink did. And then if Trump attacks Canada in general, instead of saying your globalist up there is about to hurt you really bad, and hopefully I see him trying to change his tune, that's good. Saying, oh, I love Canada, they're our friends. Good. My God, they're under globalist control. We're liberators. We're not, you're losers, you live off us. We're gonna take you over. That ain't how you get somebody to get in bed with you. And again, Trump's so smart in almost every case, smarter than I am. But on certain things, he has this weirdness where he does a joke or something and he just goes with it, not thinking about how powerful he is. So we've just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with, how about the globalists that have conquered Canada? Including the fact that they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs for years on dairy.
We get it. Our birth rate is below replacement level. While we're building housing so fast, we're running out of land to build on. If you think about it that enough, you'll become extremist.
It's all good.
How's Kamala doing? How are you guys doing? Has it been a nice little, I don't know, break from, presidency, a lot of stress?
It's all good. She's doing great. Thanks.
What do you have to say to, immigrant families that are a little scared about the ICE raids? Anything that you could tell those families right here?
Yeah, what's happening is outrageous, and we've got your back.
Does Kamala plan to help any of them?
We're always going to stand up for people in need.
How's Kamala doing? How are you guys doing? Has it been a nice little, I don't know, break from, presidency, a lot of stress?
It's all good. She's doing great.
What the heck? What is that? What is it for? I don't know. Let's see. We not have the same people.
So you're refusing to sign?
Okay, and I don't have to sign this, right?
You do have to sign it.
No, I don't.
Well, like I explained to him, if you don't sign it, then you're going to be physically taken to jail.
Gotcha.
So you're refusing to sign?
What's your name?
Officer Brooks, 7452.
What's the badge number?
I gave it to you 2 times, man.
Okay, I'm asking again.
And I'm not giving it to you.
Okay.
Are you going to sign it?
No, because I want your badge number.
Let him put your hands behind your back for me. Hey, listen, my man. She said she's not signing it. Put your hands behind your back.
Sir,
Ma'am.
you're hurting me.
Okay. I'm asking you to put your hands behind your back.
Sir?
Put your hands behind your back. Start me though,
Sir.
Ma'am, put your hand behind your back. I need you to back up.
I'm just saying, like,
I need you to back up.
You don't need to touch her like that.
She's not putting her hands behind her back.
I'm asking a question.
Okay.
I'm just, all I'm doing is
Put your
asking.
hands behind your back. Put your hands behind
Mr.
your
Brooks.
You're under arrest. Put your hands behind your back. I asked you to sign the ticket. You told me you're not signing.
Sir,
Put your hands
I'm
behind your back.
asking you a question.
Alright. People are so dumb. I swear.
Leave you with all of your fingers, see the streets and never believe in you. Come on, go ahead and babble, you can watch me patient.
No. I'm gonna get hit. What'd they find? It says Israeli operatives go to Iran nuke facility after bunker buster strikes. They found something chilling. What? Uh, the heck is this? Is that this here? Sounds like something a year ago. Yeah.
I'm taking shots at the enemy.
That was a few years ago.
They're not going to talk about. Now, what fucks with me is that we're in Frankfurt, Germany in 2025, and these motherfuckers don't turn on the air conditioner. Makes no sense to me. Because see, if something happens to one of y'all out there, they're not going to talk about the arena. They're not going to talk about Germany. They're going to talk about Pitbull. And I care about y'all. I want to make sure you have a good time, have fun, and stay safe. But it's some bullshit when they're doing this to y'all. Because y'all pay good money to be here tonight. Now feel better? Feels better? Hold on, I'm gonna do it over here too. Because if we're hot on stage, I can just imagine how hot y'all are. Better? Now what fucks with me is that we're in Frankfurt, Germany in 20 fucking...
They won't turn on the air conditioning. Estimated population of undocumented immigrants. Mass deportation equals rent freeze. Oh boy. Alright, my feed sucks today. There's nothing going on. Oh, what's this?
A challenging time. Of course, this is a challenging time. All the progress we've made is at risk. Budgets are tight, and we all
I hope your progress is at risk.
show our priorities when there's tough trade-offs to be made. There's no denying this is a global health crisis.
He got his aid cut off.
And other funding cuts. Aid in total has gone down by $30 billion this year alone. It reinforces the incredible values being shown by the people who are showing up here today and being
He wasn't stealing the money from USAID anymore.
with the cut in health resources, along with the financial situation a lot of these low-income countries are in, we are going to have a few years where things will go backwards. As we think about this, think of a mother who will bring a baby wheezing for breath to a health center, and because the vaccines aren't available, that baby will not survive. Think of a health worker trying to deal with a measles outbreak, who, because there's less resources for that primary healthcare system or vaccines, that measles epidemic will continue. This is agonizing. I mean, we have to put ourselves in the position of the parents who lose these children, and how tough it must be for them to realize that the life could have been saved by a vaccine that costs just 30 cents. So, our trend lines will briefly go into reverse. I believe that we can come back. I believe that we will resume that incredible progress that you saw.
The volume on this is really low. I don't know
4
why.
years or 6 years.
I'm glad he's frustrated. I'm glad he's not getting his money.
Resources back and we take advantage of
Alright, well, my feed sucks today. Let's break into the DisAlgorithm, see if anything cool's happening over here. Or at least something interesting. Let's see. What the heck is up with all the MAGA bros calling Trump It's because that one guy he was talking to at NATO, I don't know what he was. He was like the Dutch dude in charge of the Netherlands. I don't know. He said, because Trump was talking about Iran and Israel and saying that they're like little kids squabbling, and then he said, yeah, Daddy had to use harsh language sometimes. Daddy has to use harsh language sometimes. And he was just saying, hey, Daddy. But still, it's funny. And then later on, the one of the journalists asked him if he cared that that guy called him Daddy. Yeah, AOC says, I'm proud of how I grew up and talk about it all the time. My mom cleaned houses and I helped. We cleaned tutors' homes in exchange for SAT prep. Growing up in between the Bronx and Yorktown deeply shaped my views of inequality, and it's a big reason I believe things I do today. Dear Democrat Party, take off gloves. Okay, yeah, whatever. Like, you guys haven't caused enough problems. Alright, what is this? Joe Biden? There's no volume. He went to the funeral. Powerful moment as former president pays his respects to the slain lawmaker in Minnesota. He truly is the best of us. I mean, these people are hilarious. So. Mom D1, the establishment is in panic. Billionaires are raising money against him. Trump is ranting. Islamophobes are on the loose. They know what we know. Candidate who stood boldly with working class can win, not only in New York City, but anywhere. Let's stand for Zion. Yeah, if you promise a bunch of free crap, yeah. Doesn't mean it's going to work out. I mean, if you promise a bunch of free crap, all the idiots are going to vote for you, sure. Fox News Network. Let's see, Gavin Newsom versus Fox News Network. Alright. What's he suing him about? They called him a retard. Case closed. Let's see. Elizabeth Warren, if Jeff Bezos can afford to rent Venice for $50 million wedding, he can afford to pay his fair share in taxes. Yeah, they're just always worried about collecting taxes.
Gasoline now is, we've done a great job in a short period of time. Energy prices are way down. Gasoline now is down to close to $2 in a lot of places. A couple of places I see it even broke. It's like $1.98 a gallon. We've done a great job on inflation and honestly, pretty much everything else. We've done a great job.
But it did come down a lot.
Energy prices are way down. Gasoline now is down to close to $2 in a lot of places. A couple of places I see it even broke. It's like $1.98 a gallon.
Secretary of Education says California should copy Alabama's education system. Alabama is number 44 in education. California is number 24 in education. Okay. Do you know who else discredited the media? Lenin, Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini, Castro, Mao, Idi Amin, Pol Pot, Hussein, Assad, Putin, ISIS, Boko Haram. Yeah, but he's not wrong. They're lying.
Where 50,000 Americans die unnecessarily, instead of throwing 16 million people off of health care, instead of creating a situation where 50,000 Americans die unnecessarily, why don't we do what every other major country on earth does and guarantee health care to all people as a human right? What do you got that, Mr. President? Instead of throwing 16 million people off, so we have almost 100 million uninsured, instead of throwing 16 million people off of health care.
I don't know.
Country, just so you know. And again, I say, if you look at, they used birthright citizenship, some of the worst people, some of the cartels, to get people into our country, just so you know. And again, I say, if you look at the end of the Civil War, the 1800s, it was a very turbulent time. If you take the end day, was it 1869 or whatever, but you take that exact day, that's when the case was filed. And the case ended shortly thereafter. This had to do with the babies of slaves, very, very obviously. And I think we're going to win. People didn't, I don't think they went about discussing it right. I can't, they used birthright citizenship, some of the worst
He's
people,
ending
some of the
birthright
cartels, to get
citizenship.
people into our country, just so you know.
Said it many times they
Again, I
couldn't
say,
pass
if
the
you look
7th
at the
grade
end
U.S.
of the
history
Civil
exam
War,
they
the
posted it.
1800s, it was a very turbulent time. If you take the end day, was it 1869 or whatever, but you take that exact day, that's
If
when the
you
case
look
was
at the end
filed.
of the Civil
And
War,
the
the
case ended shortly
1800s, it was
thereafter.
very
This had to
turbulent
do
time. If you
with
look at the end
the
of
babies of slaves,
1869 or
very,
whatever.
very obviously.
Welcome to Donald Trump's new America. Yeah, this ain't your home, go home.
Keep going out. Come out this way, please. All right, you get here, dude.
They just heard the women and kid coming out. Like that was all that was in there. That's hilarious. I mean, why'd they have to cut it? That's so dumb. Maybe it's time we all called in our debt all together all at once. Yeah. Jeez, where's this guy though? California? Yeah, here it's well, last I checked it was like 290. So came down a lot though. It was at 350, so it's nice to be paying 290 now. I'm not surprised a Republican groomed and raped his stepdaughter. I'm just effing forward. He still received 42% of the vote in South Dakota after he was indicted. Seriously, what the heck is the matter with these people? South Dakota Republican Joel Koskin, who sexually groomed his stepdaughter and received 42% of the vote, despite the allegations against him, sentenced to 10 years in prison. Jeez. That's not good. Felony incest. Jeez. Alright, well, we learned something. Learn there's sickos on both sides. Zoran Mamdani's plan to tax the rich is a 2% tax on income over 1 million. If you make 1.1 million, you'd pay an extra 2,000. Watching working class conservatives and politicians completely melt down about this is wild. Don't get it twisted. Today's SCOTUS ruling makes it harder for the courts to fully block dangerous policies like Trump's attack on birthright citizenship. Once again, they're bending the law to serve him instead of defending the Constitution that's faithful. The Supreme Court limited judges' powers on nationwide injunctions, leaving the fate of Trump's birthright citizenship order unclear. Yeah, you can't just have a low-level judge just making rules for the whole country. It's just stupid. It's not how the judicial system is supposed to work. The Supreme Court has recklessly limited the ability of federal district courts to issue nationwide injunctions. Why would a district court be able to make nationwide injunctions just on everyone? Border Patrol just raided a home in LA which was used by Iranian human trafficking ring. In total, 9 people were arrested there this week, including Iranian nationals on the FBI terror watch list. Cool. See, that's probably the same house, dude. When they blew the door, they just showed the lady coming out. It was, because I'm pretty sure there was a fence running out of the house. Yeah. But they're doing some good. Well, all of it's good. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution says the Congress shall have power to declare war. The decision whether to unleash the dogs of war should not be made by the President alone or by any other president acting without the consent of the Congress and the American people against a malign power like Iran and any other country.
From those who are to spend, and in a letter to Thomas Jefferson in the summer of 1789, James Madison reflected on how they had approached this question of war power, which was the subject of much debate in Philadelphia at the Constitutional Convention. He said, "We have already given in one example an effectual check on the dog of war by transferring the power of letting him loose from the executive to the legislative body, from those who are to spend to those who are to pay. From those who are to spend to those who are to pay. That is, because a decision as consequential as entering into war requires informed debate and buy-in from the people's representative and the public. From us here in the Senate and from our colleagues in the
Just
House.
wants more of a heads up on what
Because
to,
we need to weigh the benefits
what to
and the risks
buy
for our
at the stock
constituents
market.
and for the country as a whole. Because a decision like this one should be insulated from partisan politics and not made with haste or with blinders on. There are perhaps senators in this body who will say this debate is no longer needed. The mission is over. Iran has backed down. A lasting ceasefire is in place. The threat has passed. And I would say to them, I don't know that to be true, and neither do you. And on behalf of all those who could and would pay, we should not allow this great and solemn power to make war to be usurped any longer. The only way for us to know whether the United States might be drawn into a broader conflict is if we exercise our authority to prevent it, or to determine that the Congress wants to affirmatively provide a president with the authorization to use force.
All right. Dutch Queen Maxima goes mega viral after she seemingly mocks Trump on camera while standing right next to him, sending MAGA world into a frothing rage. This is just too funny. The only time I saw this was over here. And it is funny. It's like, okay. Everyone does a Trump impression. No one's frothing in rage. I'm sure Trump doesn't even care. Alright. Well, this is boring. Let's go check out Instagram. The heck is this? Bubble bathroom. Former McDonald's employee saves free world from Iranian nuclear threat. Why are Democrats always rooting against America? Let's see, Washington Post, yeah. Alright, Washington Post Pulitzer Prize winner reporter charged with possession of child CP. Alrighty.
What can I get you?
My pronouns are they, them. Give me a quad long shot grande.
Fuck out of here. Yo, come with me on my first day on the job. What can I get you?
Tom Petty died from like...
Tom Petty's dead?
Yeah, he got...
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Wow, I guess he will back down.
A lot of YNs up there.
tour right now. Detroit, Minneapolis, and Philly. I almost gambled in Detroit. I almost went to the MGM, but there was too many NGRs.
I got a voicemail once from this just deranged hillbilly guy with the thickest.
I apologize.
Yeah.
I just lit my acreage on fire.
Yeah, well, that would all make sense now. Yeah. Now this guy was like, he thought the name of the show was Porky's Butthole. I don't know how you get Porky's Butthole out of Beavis and Butthead, but I still have the message. It's like a minute and a half long, and he's just like, and this is actually, this is where I got the voice later for Boomhauer on King of the Hill. This guy, the message started out, he goes, I've been calling y'all for better than a month now. I grab at y'all every time that dang old Porky's butthole come on. I got a voicemail once from this just deranged hill.
Elon Musk, and I know Elon was on your show, and he's here in Austin, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And he spent $270 million to elect Trump as president.
What's the most someone donated towards the Harris campaign?
They spent a lot of money on Harris as well.
They spent $1.5 billion just
combined
over the course of a couple of months.
You got it. All right, let me talk about it. So
Yeah,
I'm not here
let's
just to
talk
say
about
it's
that.
a Republican. That's my point here.
Right.
Oh, I was going to get to that. Both sides take advantage of this. That's my point. Well, if that was your point, why didn't you lead with that? Rogan called you out on it, and then you tried to save face. What's up with your hair, by the way? Hey, man. You're on the most popular podcast. You're on there looking like a mad scientist. Hey, Keith, when you get to his age, you don't care what you look like. Then he brings up climate change, and then Joe Rogan literally rips his nuts off.
You got to deal with this climate change issue. And I know that, there are some people who think climate change is a hoax. It ain't a hoax.
It's a hoax the way y'all spinning it.
Last 10 years have been the warmest on record.
The reality is that the Earth's temperature has never been static, right? We can both agree on that. There's a lot of money involved in this climate change emergency issue, and there's a lot of control. That's a big part of this problem. Not only that, if we're just talking about primarily carbon and carbon footprint, what are we going to do about China?
They are the major polluter right now in terms of carbon.
Dude just seized up, locked up. Who sits like this? Hey, Keith, would you calm down?
Elon Musk. And I know.
Look at mama. Look at mama. Look at us.
Was she really? Says she was jailed for praying outside an abortion clinic.
It's a pretty potent dye. I see it in my pee.
Yeah. Well, I had to change the toilets in my house.
One of the fan favorites this year is the chicken calling contest, and this afternoon...
If he can get Rogan to choke him, then Joe will be like, hey, let's talk about this on the show. Like, it could literally just be all some harebrained idea to get on JRE or something.
And that's why I think it's a mental breakdown.
He's losing his money. His businesses are falling apart, and he blames Derek and Rogan and whoever else because he thinks that the reason that his empire imploded is because
bingo.
That's what I think is actually going on.
That's what you hit the nail on the head. But you're not taking any accountability for the current state you're in with your business. So Rogan didn't lie to the public that you were natty. I didn't. Who sold this dream and these ideas and started a business saying you were natty, which, to be honest, dude, isn't even needed. And if he would have came out and be like, I do take all my supplements and I eat liver and I do live this caveman lifestyle, but I also run gear, dude, because I'm fucking 50.
Yeah.
Like I run some gear, man. I'm 50.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
If he can get Rogan to
Whoa, player. Whoa, player. This is your ass, player. This is your ass, player. You don't know nothing about this player? Oh, shit! Damn! Woo! Been a long time. Oh, watch it. Here we go, watch it.
It's a what? Yeah, that was the game back then. Democrat senator just destroyed suppressors and short barrel rifle deregulation from Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. Damn it! No! Here's how we got screwed. We were this close just days ago. The Senate was verge of stripping suppressors, SBRs, AOWs from NFA entirely. No more tax stamps, no more 9-month waits, no more ATF permission slips. Then just after midnight, one woman, Senator parliamentarian Elizabeth McDowell Denome, shut it all down with one phrase: bird rule violation. Ah, man.
Right now. Come here. Turn around. Turn around. Now you stop doing that now. I'm not playing with you. You don't finna set my stuff up in my house. Say I'm sorry. Say I'm sorry. Say I'm sorry.
That's all he get. That's all he get.
Say I'm sorry. Okay.
Me too.
Grandma was being nice.
Uh-oh. Fast farts. Fast farts. Fast farts. Alexa, fart. Fat farts. Fat fart.
No, he doesn't.
Alexa, fat farts.
I don't know that.
Fat farts. Fat farts. Fat fart.
Dudes on bicycles. First off, dudes on bicycles acted like they paved the road, and you're just on it, taking up space in your car, because they think they're so much better than you because they're on a bicycle. In my world where I grew up, if you're on a bike, you were just poor. And if you're on a bike and you're riding it and you had another bike next to you that you're holding the handlebars, you were super poor, but you just stole that bike. So you might get some money. Now, but you were nothing if you're on a bike. Now, bikes empowered, so I think I blame the green movement because now you're saving the world. It's sort of like when some guy gets high and he looks over the fence at the zoo and he sees the polar bears and he goes, I'm going to go pet that polar bear. It's like, that thing will kill you. There's a crazy mom in a Suburban and we're doing our rally for ICE. I'm going to start pounding on your hood and my friend's going to go around the driver's side and start pounding. You're going to run over.
Okay.
You're just going to get run over because the Suburban is 6,000 pounds.
Yes.
You have a crazy woman. She's got an infant in the back. She's freaked out. She's got her foot on a pedal to the right.
Yeah.
Just needs to stab it once, and you're dead.
Yeah.
And you're standing in front of her hood, pounding on her hood. Somebody's going to run you over. You need to have a healthy fear of Suburbans and polar bears. They're not your friend. Dudes on bicycles.
By the way, so many questions. Should we keep this going, Pam? Or not?
Yeah.
This is the opposite of Biden. Biden would take a half a question and he'd leave without answering it. Go ahead. You tell me when it gets boring. Okay? By the way, so many questions. Should we?
Yep.
Hey, one of those Dad Rock CDs.
How do you keep them from having the nuke? Impeach Trump is the opposite of having a better idea. You're killing your party. You're killing your party. And look, I hope it works out.
Why don't they talk about planting trees? Why isn't Bill Gates the largest, private landowner in the U.S. now, planting trees like crazy if he's so worried about carbon dioxide? He poo-poos the whole idea of planting trees as a way to combat climate change. It's just carbon markets and going to electric vehicles and all of this stuff. But electric vehicles necessitates mass mining, and a lot of that mining is in places that use child labor, or it's going to be so environmentally destructive you totally destroy the developing world, which these people on the left supposedly want to protect. You're going to totally destroy the environment. But really what it's about is controlling how much energy people can use. And if you control how much energy a household can use, you control their economic activity. You also control how big their family can get. It's fear-driven to get people to accept policies they otherwise wouldn't accept because they're told this cataclysmic event is just down the line. And trust us, again, is the conclusion of that. There's people that agree with the narrative about climate change, and there's people that don't. And I'm not trying to really get in that space when I talk about this stuff. I'm trying to point out that the solutions are coming mostly from Wall Street. And then you have people like Larry Fink of BlackRock and Michael Bloomberg and Mark Carney coming together in something like GFAN saying, why don't we give Wall Street direct control of the IMF and the World Bank for climate change?
Right.
How can anyone...
All right. Well, I'm going to call it there. Not much going on today. Didn't really learn anything in the DisAlgorithm. Except, what was up with that South Dakota mayor or whatever, or governor? I don't know. That was crazy. But I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Some truths will be hilarious, others painful, but we must be free. We must break into the DisAlgorithm.